Throughout his existence, a man dedicated considerable time to denouncing small canines, firmly entrenched in his disdain. Little did he anticipate that a Chihuahua, of all things, would eventually become his savior. In a twist of fate, it was not he who saved their lives, but they who rescued him. Bobby Humphreys experienced a whirlwind of ups and downs in his life. Once an accomplished bodybuilder and skilled carpenter, he found himself embracing a new occupation involving little Chihuahuas. There was a time when Bobby's life brimmed with happiness, marked by a fulfilling marriage and a circle of close friends. Unfortunately, life presented its share of challenges, and his 17-year marriage crumbled, leaving Bobby devastated and sinking into the depths of depression. Many of us can empathize with the profound difficulty of the end of a significant relationship. Suddenly, Bobby found himself stripped of a significant source of security, and his burden was further compounded by a debilitating shoulder injury, causing both emotional and physical anguish. Despite grappling with loneliness, Bobby struggled to reciprocate his friends' well-intentioned efforts to support him. In the aftermath of the breakup, he shunned social interactions and preferred solitude. But amidst his self-imposed isolation, Bobby's closest confidant, Connie, refused to abandon him. Despite his attempts to push her away, just as he had done with others, she remained steadfast by his side. To this day, Bobby cherishes Connie's unwavering loyalty and gratitude for her unwavering support. My friend Connie had shown me what friendship really meant. No matter what I needed, she was there for me. Needless to say, I feel I owe her quite a bit. Bobby explained. One day, Connie asked Bobby for a favor. Connie was going out of town for a short while and she needed someone to look after her pet. Even in his low state, he would do what he could to help his dear friend. He had no idea that saying yes to a seemingly simple favor would end up changing his life forever. Connie owned a little Chihuahua named Lady. Bobby had met Lady a few times before, and he had decided that he did not like her, nor any other small animal. Matching with his bodybuilder physique, Bobby had a preference for dogs that were big or strong. For example, he liked Rottweilers, as well as his preferences. Bobby didn't hold a particularly favorable opinion of Lady. Although Connie was a very kind person, her pet was known to be quite difficult to manage. One time, Lady had mistakenly eaten some chemotherapy medication. The feisty Chihuahua may have survived that accident, but ever since she can act strangely. However, Bobby would soon come to learn the charm of small animals. Connie hadn't been away for very long. The favor she asked for was a small one. Not long after she gave her pet to Bobby, she was knocking on his door to pick Lady up when she walked in to see how the two of them were doing. She couldn't believe her eyes. Lady and Bobby were cuddling. It was a well-known fact among all of Bobby's friends that he had a strong dislike for small puppies. There was even a time when he used to make fun of his friends whenever they'd walk around with their girlfriends' tiny pets. As previously mentioned, Bobby used to see small animals as not very masculine. That's why Connie was so surprised to see how close Lady and Bobby had become. The bodybuilder's large physique was startling next to Lady's humble frame. Physically, the pair could not have looked more different. Nevertheless, Bobby had put aside his preferences when he was caring for Lady, soon realizing that the size of an animal has no correlation to how big their heart was. In spite of his previous encounters with Lady, when Bobby took her into his home, the Chihuahua immediately took a liking to him. It became a normal thing for a lady to sit on the big man's lap. She always wore a peaceful expression when she was around him. During a vulnerable, dark time for Bobby, he found something that he could put his love into. Eagerly, Lady reciprocated and would show Bobby the care and attention he was craving. Lady ended up being Bobby's motivation to keep pushing through the tough parts of his life. There were many days I could not even get up and go to work. Weeks turned into months, and the only thing that made me happy was spending time with Lady. I cannot believe how this little 7-pound beautiful baby stole my heart, said Bobby. Eventually, Bobby had to return Lady to Connie. However, the short time that they had spent together changed his outlook on small dogs. In fact, he was so positively impacted by the experience that he then sought out to get his own. When Bobby went over to the local adoption shelter, he had laser focus. Although he still liked big dogs, his prejudices had disappeared, and his preferences had changed. It was as if fate had brought Bobby to that specific shelter on that day, because when he began looking for a dog to adopt, he caught sight of a beautiful little Chihuahua. When he approached the brown-colored Chihuahua, he was confident that they would get along. Lady was a difficult dog, and yet she instantly warmed up to Bobby. His expectation was that whatever dog he picked up from the adoption shelter would have the same response. That wasn't exactly the case with this new Chihuahua. Bobby wanted the Chihuahua and decided to name her Kira. Despite her timid appearance, the little dog had a fiery personality. As he got closer to her, he was shocked when she started resisting. I got to see firsthand the fury of a Chihuahua. This puppy tried to take my hand off. Literally, she wouldn't get near me. She barked and growled at Bobby. With great anticipation, Bobby eagerly welcomed Kira into his home, firmly believing that she was destined to become his beloved pet from the moment he laid eyes on her. However, Kira's initial hostility stemmed from the difficult past she had endured before finding herself in the shelter. Her previous living conditions were deplorable, a poorly constructed house with a muddy floor that detrimentally affected her health and behavior. Moreover, she had never received proper training like other dogs. Prior to Bobby's arrival, most people were deterred by Kira's temperament. Yet, undeterred, Bobby was determined to shower her with love. The gratifying sensation he experienced when in the presence of Kira, similar to his previous companion Lady, motivated him to persistently show her affection. Fortunately, Kira must have sensed his genuine intentions, as it didn't take long for her to warm up to him. In fact, Kira shared striking similarities with Lady in her affectionate cuddling. The two formed an unbreakable bond. Despite appreciating his newfound companion, Bobby couldn't shake the longing for something more. He yearned to adopt a younger dog, one he could raise and train from the start. When Bobby encountered Kira, she was already a year old, and caring for her was a different experience. Hence, Bobby continued his search for another small dog to enrich his life. His efforts were not in vain, as he soon crossed paths with a pair of Chihuahuas named Harley and Quinn. Learning about the previous owner's mistreatment of these pups and the horrendous conditions they endured shattered Bobby's heart. He immediately took both of them, and knowing that he would be able to provide a better home for them. After his encounter with Kira and the young siblings, Bobby began to realize just how often animal mistreatment occurs. He couldn't understand how people could be so cruel to such innocent creatures. This was a life-changing realization for Bobby, because from that day onwards, he made it his mission to save as many Chihuahuas as possible. Bobby founded the Big Guy Little's World Sanctuary, offering his home to over 30 Chihuahuas. It all began with a simple favor, a small act of kindness that set everything in motion. As many continued to shower Bobby with admiration for his unwavering commitment to rescuing and safeguarding animal lives, he steadfastly maintained that it was a vocation perfectly suited to him. These tiny dogs became his saviors, bringing purpose and meaning to his existence, and in return, he is blessed with their unwavering love and unyielding loyalty each and every day. What you think about Bobby's love towards little canines? Let us know in the comments section. Thank you.